Money FM 89.3, the best of the afternoon update. The afternoon update with Lynlee Foo.
Very good afternoon to you. It's Lynlee with you this afternoon. And welcome to Good Tech, where we spotlight how technology is being used for good, transforming lives and making a real difference in our communities. Now, studying often can feel overwhelming, especially for students who struggle to find the right support when they need it. However, two NUS graduates saw an opportunity to change that. They came up with a solution called Check, an AI-powered tool which provides hyper-personalized academic support for students from secondary school to junior college. Before you think this is just another AI chatbot, it is not. Launched in April this year, it is a curriculum-specific tutoring platform that responds to students' questions in real time, providing tailored help that complements traditional learning. So how exactly does it enhance the educational experience, and why does it matter for the future of academia? Joining us today in the studio are the co-founders of Check, Andre Lim and Jed Ng. Welcome to the studio, guys.
Hi, thanks for having us.
Welcome, Andre and Jed.
Thanks for having us.
How are you doing today?
Great.
Okay.
Very hot day as always.
Okay, Andre, we'll start with you. Okay, what was the light bulb moment that led you to create Check?
Yeah, so having previously actually ran my own tuition center, as well as having taught a whole range of students. One thing that I found was that recently, especially with advances in AI, with ChatGPT coming out, it's a fact that nowadays almost every student uses it. One thing that was quite alarming and concerning for me was that a lot of students would actually just directly copy and paste their answers, and there's no learning involved. So a lot of them were kind of like losing in that critical thinking aspect. And we found that the responses that ChatGPT often gave were actually not relevant for the syllabus that they are actually studying in Singapore. So that's where Check came out, basically building a solution that is accurate to the curriculum. And it's more like a step-by-step coach, less so much a just question answering tool that trains students how to really think and apply whatever they've learned.
Okay, interesting. And Jed, Check uses AI, but so do many other tools out there. How is it different from general purpose platforms such as ChatGPT?
So we actually have a built-in memory system based on the syllabus we've uploaded. So just give an example. For instance, if the students learning algebra, maybe they do addition, subtraction, multiplication, and maybe are good at addition, subtraction, but not so good at multiplication. And maybe the school does it a certain way, the A-level does it a certain way. It's not too advanced like university level, but also not too easy like the O-level. So because we've uploaded all of these documents and our own notes based on our experience as going through the syllabus, the AI is very accurate in detecting the nuances of the syllabus and making sure that the student learns everything they need to, no more and no less.
Okay. And motivation and structure are some of the biggest challenges students usually face. So, Andre, maybe I'll ask you this. How does Check's system personalize the learning journey and keep students on track?
Yeah, so I guess one key part of personalization comes in the form of how well does the AI actually understand the student and the profile of them. We do have various kind of like measures in place. So for instance, one thing that Jed mentioned was like the memory system. All the way down to the very granular level, the AI is able to understand where the student last left off and from there be able to tailor the experience and learning from there. So our entire AI platform is actually what we call an AI agent. AI agents are a huge thing nowadays in the AI startup world. And what it does is that it essentially always fetches the memory of the student prior to actually giving them the output that they actually require. So that's one aspect. The other aspect is we do have features in place, such as the entire syllabus structure that tracks the mastery of a student's progress as well. So a student can always hit into a very specific subtopic and from there begin, for instance, an interactive lesson or, for instance, to pull a past year paper question that they can get to work on. So these are kind of like just ways that we try to experience it apart from all of the other user interface measures that we have as well.
Okay, speaking of which, Jed, what are some of the key features that make Check more accessible and efficient compared to traditional like tuition or even self-study?
Yeah, so talking to some of the students, some of their favorite tools so far is that, so ChatGPT currently, they'll just kind of answer a question and that's it. But one thing we do to enhance this experience is we can pull out the papers they uploaded. So all these are publicly available online, so from the different schools. And we also have curated in-house notes. So these are either by us or by ex-students who have done the syllabus before and they've done quite well. So this also serves as kind of a knowledge base for the agent as well. So they know what the students need to know for A-levels and don't give any like irrelevant info, which quite often ChatGPT and similar toolbots, chatbots do.
Okay. And what about the data part of things? Andre, how does Check use learning analytics and tracking to improve outcomes, and not just in the short term, but over a student's entire academic journey?
Right. So I guess it really depends on where the student comes into the platform at any given time. I think one thing that we do is that as far as possible, we of course try not to, collect too much data that is not needed. So a lot of it is tagged to, for instance, the very subtopic level. Kind of like how we do it is, for instance, let's say if a student came in, they started with a certain part of, for instance, market failure within microeconomics, and then they revisit that chapter later on. What it does is that it essentially kind of like fetches the memory that it has based on that very specific subtopic, and from there it's able to give the student insights as to what is the next best move to take, whether they should be starting to work on a past year practice paper or whether they should just be working on the fundamentals. So that is kind of like how we look at our, in a sense, idea of data and how we measure where a student performs over time.
Okay. And now the proof in the pudding moment. How do we know it's working? Jet, have there been any standout success stories or feedback from students that show how Check has made a real difference?
Actually, yes. So we've been running this program where we go down to schools and we kind of talk to students, we show the app, and it's kind of for us for a way to get on the ground and really get a sense of what the students' sentiments are. And I hopped into a call yesterday with a student to give us feedback, and she said that initially she thought that our app was kind of the same as ChatGPT at first, but she found herself using it more and more often because of the notes we've uploaded, like it's of pretty high quality, and because these agents are trained on these notes, it gives very accurate answers, and she actually finds herself using it.
Which level?
Oh, A-levels. So these are
JC2, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So this student is in the second year of JC, so she's really feeling the pressure, and she kind of expressed that having these notes on hand is a lot more convenient than using the tools like ChatGPT.
Okay. Could you share one more example for us?
Yeah, so I think in fact, similar to that as well, I recently hopped into a call as well. We speak to I think tens of students every single day. And there was one student, by the name of Trevor. And basically he's a JC2 student as well. And his recount was that he was actually spending 1 or 2 hours on the platform alone, just engaging in a debate and a discussion with the AI for the subject of general paper. So it's a H1 subject at the A-levels. And one other thing that he explored was also trying to craft an essay based on this debate and this kind of like argument that he had. And what he found was that, first of all, the AI was super in line with the parameters of what general paper expects and requires. And not only that, but they actually gave him a very good, cohesive argument that he could take to his actual school's homework at the end of the day. So I think that was something that was super interesting because we rarely hear of students fighting with the AI. But I think this guy had a very good argument with it, and it really helped him to shape his thinking.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
And there is growing concern about students becoming overly reliant on AI tools. So how was it designed? How does Check ensure it supports rather than, I suppose, short circuits the learning process?
So I think one thing that we are super, in a sense, concerned about and likewise is the fact that students who are using AI are simply just, getting spoon-fed the information. Some safeguards that we have in place is that we fine-tune the model and we give it a lot of context as to how to go about teaching like how a teacher would. So this comes with my experience of having taught hundreds of students as well. And kind of like an example of this is, for instance, getting the AI to always guide a student step by step instead of feeding them an answer, even if the student questions or prompts for an answer to a question. So this always helps with that critical thinking aspect. We also have another feature in place, which is actually a voice agent, whereby the student can interact live with the voice AI tutor, and it always takes a questioning approach. So it's always asking you have you thought about this perspective, right? Have you considered this and that? So with that, we believe that, and students have told us as well, that they feel as though our AI is a bit different because of the way it responds in a way whereby it actually trains them to think instead of actually just asking or giving the answer.
Fantastic. And one of the big promises of education technology is inclusivity. How is Check helping to narrow this education gap and make quality learning more, I suppose, equitable and fair? Jet?
So we look at the current state of where students can kind of get outside help. Schools can be quite overwhelmed. So we've interviewed a lot of students, and he said that sometimes they're scared of asking their teachers because sometimes consultation slots are very low. So the teachers don't have time to cater to all the students. And currently, how junior college works is a lecture based. So students aren't really inclined to raise up their hand in the middle of a lecture hall to ask questions. So that's for the schools. And when you go for outside help, the options available are slightly limited. Tuition can be quite expensive, and for students who can't afford it, they turn to other solutions such as ChatGPT. But that is where we saw the gap in the current education market, where it's not really teaching things that are aligned to the syllabus. And that's where we felt that we could come in and really have a source of support that's a lot more targeted to the A-level syllabus and the O-level syllabus.
Okay. And what's next for Czech? Any plans to expand into new subjects, levels, or even beyond Singapore?
Yeah, so pretty exciting stuff coming up actually. So currently we are focused on the GCE A-level and O-level syllabus. After this, we do plan to move on to the IB syllabus as well.
Oh.
So a very huge market for that, and one that is found everywhere in the world. So I think currently for us, we are pretty much focused on just getting on the ground, talking to students, getting feedback on the product. But soon after, we're going to be launching new curriculums, and we're also looking at new forms of AI as well. So we're looking at multimodal, which is something that's pretty interesting to actually get students even more engaged with new forms of visualizing certain concepts, for instance. And after that, I guess it'll be pretty much to go global, go regional with getting the product to other countries as well.
Okay, before I let you go, I have vested interest in this. My daughter is in secondary school, going on to JC next year. So how do we use it? Where do we get onto it?
So it is currently a web app, so you can find it on the website. The website is app.usecheck.ai, use for using things, and then check for check this out. The platform is currently free to use, although we do intend to introduce a paywall later on down the road as well. Okay. And we do have plans to develop an app for iOS and Android as well. But for now, you can find it on the website on Google Chrome, and free to use it on your iPad or your laptops.
Just out of curiosity, what did you guys study?
I studied NUS, Business Administration, specializing in finance and entrepreneurship.
Yourself, Jet?
NUS, Computer Science.
Yeah.
I see. Wow, perfect match.
Yeah.
Thank you both. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah.
Andre Lim and Jet Ng, co-founders of Czech. And that wraps up today's edition of Good Tech, where we highlight how innovation meets purpose. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Thanks.
I'm Lynlee. Until next time, keep looking out for the good in tech.
To listen to more great interviews, download our podcasts at audio.sg or download the audio app. That's AWEDIO, audio at the App Store and Google Play.